All right, Psychotech Labs, it's another rusty, crusty, forgotten DNA Raider project. Okay, we're going to get her tore down. We're going to test the tubes. If the tubes test good, we're going to recap it and bring her back to life. So, hey, give me a few minutes and we'll get her done. Okay, as soon as I popped the case off, I had a spider running for his life. Well, man, it, whoa. Look at that filth. Oh my god. This makes me want to just take it out and hose it down with a hose. Catch me later. Okay, since we're doing another one of these Raiders, we'll go through this in a little more detail than the last one. When these things first come in, they come in usually really, really gross. They've been stored God knows where for God knows how long. So the first day is cleanup day. On them, we'll paint. I mean, some of that stuff I don't even touch. It's so gross. Okay. So we got it in. We're going to now test these tubes. Before we test them, we have to pull each one of them out of here carefully. Oh, you see all that dirt? That's going to get wiped off. Hot water, a little bit of Dawn dishwashing soap. So right now we're going to go ahead, pull these tubes. We're going to gently wipe them off so we don't wipe off the tube numbers. Then we're going to go over to the big tube checker over there. We're going to test them out. If they test out good, we're going to go ahead and replace the capacitance bank in this. So stay tuned for that. We'll see if the tubes are good. If they are, it's viable to bring this thing back to life. If not, probably not going to be worth it. So catch me in a bit. Okay, so we're going to be using the self-service tube checker today. Oh boy. So 6JG6s is what the finals are. The King tube, it can be a 6AQ5 or a 12AQ5. So when we go to test it, because the numbers are completely wiped off of it, we're going to test it as a 6AQ5. That way, if it turns out to be a 12AQ5, we just turn the filaments up and wham. So, well, let's get testing, shall we? Okay, the tubes all tested great. They should last for years. Now that the tubes have been cleaned, tested, reinstalled, we're going to move on to that right there. That's 3 capacitors. They're all hooked end to end, but they just put them side by side. There's only 2 actual connection points. Right there is where the positive part of the battery bank is, and that ends the negative. They do solder across to other connection points just to mount the thing. But basically, here's the way it works. You have high voltage in here, and let's just say it's 1,000 volts, okay? And 2 capacitors, the ones I have, they're 450. These are 350 at 100 microfarad. Okay, when you put them end to end, let's say you put 2 of them end to end. So 450 and 450 is like 900. Okay, let's say we have 980 volts. We add another one, and that adds another 450 volts to the equation. So it's 3 times 450, and that's what your total working voltage is on your capacitance bank. Each time you do that, you lose capacitance. But when you're starting out at 100 microfarad, you're good. This circuit actually only needs 15 microfarad of filtration to function. So we're going to be way over that. Okay, let's get out our wire cutters. Let's start cutting. We'll take in and build our new battery capacitance bank out of those new capacitors there. Let's get her done. We'll put it on the Variac, see what happens. If everything works good, man, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Psychotech Labs, man. That's where it's at. Okay, so what we got here? Zoom in a little more. All right. So there we are. We're wired up. Okay. The way you wire them is positive, negative, and then positive to negative. At the end of the day, you're going to end up with a positive terminal connected to nothing, a negative terminal connected to nothing. That's your battery bank. It kind of works like, you know, when you put batteries in a flashlight, how they all stack together. It stacks together about the same way. So now this capacitance bank is ready to go ahead and solder in there. We're going to solder that positive side to the diode bridge. Okay. We're going to go to the positive output of the diode bridge on that one. The negative just hooks to any terminal that goes to chassis ground. So let's get that done. Okay, so the recapping is done. I used a little bit of silicone to keep them together and to mount them so they don't wiggle around. So that's it, recapping it right here. Your parts list is 3 450 volt 100 microfarad caps, joined end to end, positive negative, positive negative. Okay. Then you go ahead and just, you know, solder them up. You find the DC output of the diode bridge, which in that case it's right there. You connect that to the positive lead of your capacitance bank, and the negative lead of your capacitance bank goes to chassis ground. Well, that's it. Okay, next step, I really recommend, if you don't have one and you're going to do this stuff, get yourself a Variac. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and hook this up to the Variac, slowly bring up the power, make sure it's all good to go. Alright, stay tuned. Okay, the Variac. Alright, mine is old, but I like it. I know I should get a new one. Alright, mine's a 110 volt Variac. What it is a variable transformer, basically. So it starts at 0 volts and works its way up. I think this one will go to, it was over 120. What does it do? So I can crank this all the way up to 140 volts if I want. So when we do the test, make sure your power is on the unit. Power is off on the Variac. Variac knob is 0. We're plugged in. Let's go ahead, turn it on. And we're going to slowly bring up the power. If I start to feel a lot of resistance in this knob, then I'll know there's a possible dead short somewhere. My Variac has a 5 amp fuse, so it peaks over 5 amps. It'll blow. Alright, we're at 70 volts, 80 volts. It's always good to take brand new capacitors and slowly bring them up. But this will also tell if you made a boo-boo when you were wiring them together. We are humans, we do make mistakes. So 110 volts, 120 volts. The tubes are all glowing. It's holding up good. So then you just bring your variac back down, turn the variac off, remember to turn the power off on the unit. Bam. That's it for the variac test. Our next test is to go ahead and actually hook it up to a CB radio and a watt meter. Let's see if it'll make any kind of power. So let's get to that right now. Alright, we got CB hooked up. We're on channel 22. Hit the power switch, hit the uprate switch, wait for it to warm up. So wait, let's check our pass through while it's warming up. Hello. Okay, our pass through is working. So we'll be able to transmit and receive in standby mode. Awesome, huh? So basically, it's doing around 120 watts ish. So we're on the 200 watt scale, and then we'll let it warm up for a while. Hello. Audio. Okay. We got 25 watts. We have a problem with the tuning capacitor down there. We're going to go ahead and cut it off and put a knob on it. But hey, we're making power. I think once we fix the tuning capacitor, we'll be able to get it to make full power and wrap this job up. So let's get to cutting. Okay, remember the little knob on there. People have messed with this over the years, so 55. Yeah, to 100. A little over 100. Oh, yeah. At 120 watts, like it's supposed to. Okay. So, there you go. That's what it takes to recap like a little Raider. If you own one of these, don't let it intimidate you. It's nice if you find somebody that has a tube checker. I got a couple of them, so yeah. Anyway, another little Raider all done. Hey, thanks for watching my videos, everyone. I do appreciate it. I hope this is going to help someone someday down the road. Y'all take care. Psychotech Labs, where the psychos go. We're signing off. See ya. Okay, one last view of the finished product. All right. We added a knob, which it desperately needed. I guess they were using vice grips before. This thing hasn't been running years and years and years and years and years and years. God knows how many. So now it's back from the grave. Remember, if you're going to take on a project like this, discharge those old capacitors. No matter what they look like, discharge them. Those things can store voltage forever and knock you on your butt. Make sure you discharge the old caps. You pretty much know what you need now. Don't be afraid to take on this project. Like I said, thanks for watching my videos. Psychotech Labs, signing off.